Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Steven, and welcome back. Alright, so in this video, I want to talk about a story that happened very recently. The story involves a cop and basically him joking, quote unquote, I guess, joking about the anti-black police brutality. You know, police brutality against black people, right? This is a joke now, apparently, right? So I'm going to read through this article and kind of just give my thoughts, opinion, and commentary on the situation. And this article is from the Washington Post, by the way. All right, so here we go. A Georgia police officer has been accused of making racist statements to a woman during a traffic stop, telling her that the police officers, quote unquote, only kill black people. All right. Why does he even feel comfortable enough to even say that? That's, you know, part of the issue right there, right? So does he agree with this? Is he in compliance with this? Probably. I'm pretty sure. Dash cam video shows the Cobb County officer, who has been identified by local news organizations as Police Lieutenant Greg Abbott, standing outside a vehicle during a DUI stop in July 2016. Okay, so this happened like a little over a year ago. So this has been a minute. So I don't know how long they've actually had this footage, or at least known that, this particular footage of him saying this existed before they went public with this, but this has been a minute. So he's, ooh, wow. I wonder if somebody purposely dug this footage up just to kind of just like, okay, let's just get rid of this dude. It's a little interesting. But also, one thing to ask, because dash cam footage seems like it would be like a lot of hours of footage. So how do you kind of know, how did they find that? Even if they really did want to find, footage that incriminates their police officers, like how did they know where to go? Interesting. All right, next. The woman who was a passenger in the vehicle can be heard telling the officer that she did not want to put her hands down to reach for her phone because, quote unquote, I've just seen way too many videos of cops cut. Then the cop interrupts her during this dialogue with the following, quote unquote, but you're not black. Quote unquote. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right? All the videos you've seen, have you seen black people get killed? You have. Okay. And also, this is kind of like being said very nonchalantly, like it's just like, yeah, we, hit deers, we, on occasion, we may run over a dog, a stray dog, or a stray cat, just like, just very, just nonchalant about it, which, again, isn't really a surprise that, black lives, our lives aren't really seen as valuable to these people. I mean, if they were, we wouldn't be getting shot down in the street like this, right? Keep it real, you know. I think society as a whole probably views black lives as not being very valuable. Thus, the saying Black Lives Matter, that's probably where that came from. And then, I could go into a whole video about how people want to stray away from that saying where it's like, oh no, all lives matter. But it's like, right, that's another video. I'm not going to waste my time saying that arguing with that bullshit. All right. Next in this article, Cobb County Police said, oh yeah, and by the way, I've heard that Cobb County Police are racist. I have heard stories like I have not lived in Cobb County. All right, I have not lived in Cobb County. I don't really travel much in Cobb County. You know, I did go very recently. I have kind of traveled at least through Cobb County, but typically I don't. You know, not because of any issue or anything like that, but it's just because I just don't really have too much of an interest in anything that happens to be in Cobb County. No shade. I'm sure there's interesting things. I'm just cool where I be. But yeah, I had definitely heard stories about racism from Cobb County police officers. This is not the first time that a story like this has happened. Like a lot of folks have, a lot of people got stories. Someone I'm related to even has a story. All right, keep it real. Like he served in the army. He was driving through Cobb County. A police officer pulled him over. Giving him the third degree about this, that, and third, whatever. And basically, he had asked for his like my relative had asked for the police officer's ID number. Then all of a sudden, everything's all cool, good, and peas grease and chicken grease or whatever the fuck. Everything's all good in hood now, right? Yeah, interesting. But yeah, a lot more stories though. But let's get back to this story. Cobb County Police said Wednesday that Chief Mike Register received information last week about an officer making quote-unquote inappropriate racial comments which were captured on video obtained by ABC affiliate WSB. The department said that the police officer was placed on administrative duties during an internal investigation. As usual, I'm surprised they just didn't suspend him with pay. That's what they usually tend to do, but I guess because he didn't kill anybody, I guess it wasn't enough to suspend him, or at least kill a black person. They were like, no, we won't give you a vacation this time. You got to kill a black person to get a vacation. That's their mentality. Next. So Abbot's attorney, this is the officer's attorney now. He got an attorney. So his crusty-ass attorney, Lance LaRusso, said Abbott, a 27-year-old veteran on the force, is cooperating with investigators. I mean, what choice does he have, though? It's like either you cooperate or you don't, and you will get fired. If you don't cooperate, then it's like, oh, you got something to hide. But I mean, what's there not to cooperate with? At this point, I don't even know what the investigation is really about. We got the footage. It's not like we digging up the footage or digging up trying to find the actual footage. We got the footage, right? So what the fuck is the investigation for? Like, we got the proof that you said this. Now, I guess they want to be like, oh, it's a joke, Yuck, yuck, yuck. Can't you take a joke? Right? Sure. Well, let someone joke about 9/11. Shoot. Let somebody joke about, shoot. What's that? Pearl Harbor. Vietnam. The Holocaust. Let somebody say some jokes about that. See what happens. Especially the Holocaust. They're going to go for you ain't going to have no career. Depending on who you're working for. All right. Next in this article. So his, low budget, crusty ass Fugazi lawyer said the following, quote unquote, his comments must be observed in their totality to understand their context, LaRusso said in a statement Thursday to the Washington Post. All right. So he's saying, y'all taking his comments out of context, y'all. Y'all taking his comments out of context. All right, so he goes on to say the following. He was attempting to de-escalate a situation involving an uncooperative passenger. Wait a minute. Based on what happened in that dialogue, it wasn't really her uncooperating. She has said that she would like to reach for her phone, but she feels like she will get shot if she does so. She wants to cooperate, you know, but because of she had fear that, you know, she would end up becoming a victim of police brutality if she gave him, like, whatever, her cell phone. But the way they put it seemed like she was just like, no, no, I'm not going to give you my phone. Which I don't think that was the dialogue, though. I don't think that was the situation, you know. But this is his lawyer, so you know how the lawyers do. They gotta, you know, really spin it. You know, they gotta spin it. All right. Next, in context, his comments were clearly aimed at attempting to gain compliance by using the passenger's own statements and reasoning to avoid making an arrest. But the thing is, though, the passenger, from what I heard, never mentioned race. That's the thing, because I think they were both white. And she was like, you know, based on what I've seen, I just don't feel comfortable, you know, whether she could legitimately be feeling that way, or maybe she just didn't want to give the cell phone, or like go for her cell phone or something. Whatever, though. But he brought up race into it. He could have just said, you know, there could have been a lot of ways to have approached this situation, which I'm sure they should have some type of training on approaching a situation like this, where someone may be kind of fearful, you know, of the cops, you know, if they really care about that stuff. But I'm pretty sure there was some type of training about that, you know. You know, and I'm pretty sure that on their books, at least, making jokes about police brutality against black people was not one of the go-to answers for a situation like this. Let's see. Next. But the police chief said there was no excuse. Okay. So his superior, the police officer's superior, said that there was no excuse for that. Okay, so they're seemingly trying to, you know, distance themselves from this person. And as well, I think this is a lesson to white people who want to, you know, definitely uphold and perpetuate white supremacy. And the lesson is that if white supremacy is threatened, they will sacrifice you in order to protect the greater good of white supremacy. Please believe that. They especially to the coons, definitely they'll do that to the coons. But even white people, they like, shoot, when white supremacy feels threatened and has to kind of like make a choice, they're probably just gonna go with the white person who is more powerful, you know, has more money, has more status than the other white person, and just sacrifice that white person, you know. But you know, white supremacy still is being maintained. Please be wary of that. Please, you know, be aware of that. White supremacy is still being maintained, you know. And they sacrificed him to do that, right? All right. Next, quote unquote, no matter what the context, statements like these are unacceptable and are not indicative of the type of culture we are trying to facilitate here in the police department, as well as within the country, he said in a statement. You know, so they're seemingly saying all the right things. Of course, I'm pretty sure when you dig into it really, you know, are they really going to, you know, really call out white supremacy? Nah. But, you know, they're putting on a show, right? They're putting on a good show. You know, they're saying all the right things, right? So we at least be like, oh, okay, all right, right? All right. Suri Chadha Jimenez, an attorney who represented the driver in the DUI case, said that he had seen the video while preparing for court last summer and was, quote unquote, shocked by what he had heard. Quote unquote, I heard that and I cringed. I had to replay it. I thought, there's no way, he said. Well, yeah. Um, I think it's a bit shocking that he would be dumb enough and bold enough to say it. I'm pretty sure that's. Here's the thing: if police brutality was like seen as an issue that affects us all, like say cancer, or like diabetes, or some type of an illness, then it'd be like all hands on deck. Let's eradicate this problem. Let's march against police brutality. Let's have marathons, telethons, walkathons, you know, twerkathons, all types of thons to help address and rectify this issue. But because police brutality is not seen as a problem that affects everybody, it's seen more so as a problem that affects perhaps people of color, perhaps poor people, but black people, so it's not like a problem that threatens white America, right? So because of that, it's not really addressed the same way as we address, these illnesses like cancer, diabetes, or even like, literacy, education, stuff like that. It's not really addressed. It's seemingly just, swept under the rug because it's not really anything that people feel the need to address, generally speaking, of course, because it seemingly doesn't affect them, right? Okay. So, the lady with the DUI's lawyer goes on to say, he said he thinks the officer was being sarcastic with the passenger for giving him, quote unquote, lip. Quote unquote. This reality is, to us minorities, there is a real fear when you're pulled over, he said. Quote unquote, I thought it was a joke. Sorry, quote unquote, he thought it was a joke, but it's not a joke to many people. Again, very much true. This is not a joke. This is people's reality. Families have lost their loved ones over this. Children have lost their fathers. Children. Families have lost their sons, their brothers, their uncles, etc. And again, it's not just black men, because black women do kind of deal with police brutality. But I'll say, like, as far as the victims that we know about, tend to be black men more so, though. Not saying that black women don't get it, but because we all know about Sandra Bland. I don't know what happened in that situation. All right. Next, Jimenez, whose client's case was resolved last month, said that he's glad the video has been exposed and hopes it will prompt the police department to provide training for its officers. And that's the end of the article. I don't think training is enough. I think ultimately the police force is doing what it was designed to do, which is to oppress and to keep black bodies, as well as just, people of color and poor folks, etc., in check. So it's not really like malfunctioning. It's working as it should, honestly. Um, so I don't really think that um, the training. I mean, it's a gesture. It's good theater, but I don't really think that it's going to ultimately do any good because it's like, how can I put it? You know, I guess it's like telling like the devil or a demon that, oh, go to church. Go to church. It's like I don't really think that's going to do it any good because like it's too far gone for that. Its very nature is against this type of church, right? The very nature of this police force is against kind of like this um, diversity training, so to speak. Yeah. And I'll read this quote that I actually got from this this Facebook group called Clarissa Explains White Supremacy. It's kind of like a play on like Clarissa Explains It All. If you remember that show from like 90s Nickelodeon, it's kind of like, oh, she's explaining white supremacy. Um, but I think this quote really speaks to this situation. So I'm going to read it, okay? It's pretty short and straight to the point. All right. Anti-black racism was built into our organized police structures from day one. All right. No amount of police reform will be able to separate this alliance. And I think ultimately that quote speaks to this situation. It's like, it's not like you would have to totally just kind of like redo the whole police force, and restructure the whole police force because it's just not going to do it. It's just not enough because it's like I said, like, just, trying to, give some type of like, religious guidance to like the devil, you know, or like a demon or something. But yeah, I think I've said pretty much all I have to say, you guys. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave me your comments and tell me what you guys think of this, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, adios and goodbye for now.